everyone, Maxim here, and I am here again with WICSO episode 11. Now, in today's video, we're going to be focusing on a bunch of new countries forming, as well as an increase in the exploration of the world, and maybe even an increase in the number of countries. Now, in the last video, we saw significant expansion happen with Ukraine, Volga, China, and the three East Asian nations. And then we also saw India expand into Malaysia and Korea into the Philippines. Sorry. We then saw a little bit of a border dispute started by the French, in which the French decided to claim the lands that they wanted from Belgica, whilst Belgica decided to conquer England and parts of Germany. They also conquered Denmark. And then we then saw the creation of Hungary and then the partition of Vojvodina, causing a border dispute between Herzegovina and Italy. And finally, and most notably of all, we saw the creation of the Venezuelan Confederation in the south. And we're actually going to be going ahead and starting out here in Venezuela. So let's just jump straight into this video, shall we? So the Venezuelans, being a nomadic nation, will start to we'll see a bit of a limited expansion in South America. They will at first stake around the coast, but over time they will start getting more and more used to their homeland, and from there they will start expanding further and further inland into the inner parts of Venezuela. We will then see them colonize these islands over here in the north, and from there Venezuela will essentially become a small but pretty impressive South American kingdom. I mean, for a nomadic nation only holding a bunch of stolen supplies, this is a pretty impressive job for such a young nation. But speaking of young nation, moving up north, we will see something interesting happening. If I can bear with me, guys. Hang on. So remember when I said that there was following the Great Middle Eastern War there was an explorationist movement where there was a desire to explore the world and create new independent states in order to get away from the messy old world? Well, say hello to a new country over here in the north of Europe, Poland. So Poland will begin expanding over here. Into Pomerania. From there, they will also begin to expand a little bit southwards. Whilst over here in the east, we will see the Ukrainians finally achieve their lifelong dream of connecting towards the Baltic Sea, and from there, they will begin to colonize the coasts of Latvia and Lithuania, also expanding a little bit inland as well, intending to conquer, most of the lands around said area. And Ukraine by this point has become a pretty large and impressive European state, being probably containing most of Eastern Europe, and it's practically become the Kievan Rus by this point. Speaking of the Kievan Rus, Poland will continue to expand, we will eventually see the division of this land. And in this peace treaty, we will go ahead and see the division of, I guess what you can call, Lusatia, as the Poles, the Germans, the Belgians, and the Austrians will go ahead and divide the land up between themselves. So Germany will take all of this, Austria will take all of this, and Poland will take all of this. From there, Poland will continue expanding down south. However, though, Hungary, inspired by Austria's recent movements, will begin its own expansion into the north, expanding its land a little bit more northwards, whereupon Poland will meet, in which Poland, Austria, and Hungary are all friendly with each other. The reason why these countries are all friendly is because, they kind of have the same origin story, being formed by groups of people from unknown countries. Well, we kind of know Austria and Hungary's countries of origins, but basically all of these people want peace, and that's it. So from there, we will go ahead and see Poland beginning to expand a little bit more into the interior of what would be historical Poland, and after meeting up with Ukraine, it is here that we will see Poland and Ukraine beginning to discuss the beginning to discuss their borders. So let's go ahead and take a look at this agreement. In this peace treaty, we will go ahead and see the division of Eastern Europe, as Poland will take all of this, Ukraine will take all of this, looking highly familiar, Dobruja will take all of this, and Hungary will take all of this. And now we have Eastern Europe partition, looking good, looking great. Looking great. Oh, let's go ahead and also, let's also go ahead and give Poland its capital. So Poland's capital will be right about here, located in modern Danzig, and Venezuela's capital will be in their landing spot right about here. All right, so now with that, so now that's settled, let's go ahead and move over to Somalia. Now, Somalia is a bit of an interesting nation. At first, the world saw them as a bit of a great nation. The world was sympathetic for Somalia, seeing them as a nation who suffered under the chains of colonialism during Omani rule. However, though, the thing is, immediately after Somalia's revolution, Somalia has begun persecuting civilians suspected of going against the regime. Basically, anyone who speaks Omani follows the Omani religion. Basically, anyone who is suspected of going against the regime or does go against the regime is considered a potential spy or traitor and is immediately arrested. And though the world does recognize Somalia as an independent state, they will be shocked and appalled to learn of Somalia's horrific crimes against its own people. There have even been reports of Somalia unaliving its own civilians, or actually unaliving rebels during rebellion. There's also been reports from the Somali capital of Somalia persecuting or even killing its own rebels. This will shock the world, and especially this will shock Mesopotamia and Arabia, who will immediately begin to condemn the Somali state despite them being forced to recognize it. And Somalia's honest reaction? Well, they don't care. Their literal reaction is, well, we don't give a shit. We don't give a shit. Deal with it. Deal with it. In response, will immediately stir up a response. This, however, will immediately cause something interesting to happen. A group of Somali citizens fleeing from the nation of Somalia will immediately settle around the areas of Lake Victoria, and from there they will officially set up their own refugee state of Victoria, founded around Lake Victoria. So Victoria will go ahead and expand around Lake Victoria. That's where it will get its name from. And its capital will be located right over here near near this little area of Lake Victoria. From there, Victoria will continue expanding its country, now going down south and eventually expanding into Malawi. Now the Victorians by this point are basically a refugee state founded by Somalis who are afraid of their country. By this point, the people of Victoria no longer recognize Somalia as the beautiful revolutionary nation that it was, but now just as a simple tyrannistic dictator, as the Triangle Alliance is seemingly making itself out to be. Now, this is not necessarily like the gold Somalia in Ada's Prose WICSO. This is more so Somalia giving everyone the Persindian type treatment. If you know anything about WICSO, you'll know how horrible the Persindian Empire treated its citizens. And that's basically what Somalia is doing, although on a much lesser scale. Yeah. But even then, with the Victorians feeling unsafe, they will instead continue to live their own lives independent as refugees, although unknown to the world. Now, there's actually some zealots in Tanzania, or I guess Victoria, who basically dream for the reclamation of the Somali homeland. Basically, even though Tanzanians and Somalis are the same people, the Tanzanians want to overthrow the government of Somalia, and in the future, when Tanzania has finished when Tanzania has finished creating its homeland, they hope to reunite that said homeland with the Somali people, with the homeland of the Somali people, thereby uniting Africa and the Somali people under a great Somali empire. For now, however, Tanzania will live its life humbly, and it will refuse to go ahead and connect with Somalia because, I mean, if Somalia found out, they would probably invade the nation. So, yeah. However, though, for now, Tanzania will remain landlocked and will continue to live its life as a nomadic nation. Over here in West Africa, however, we will see something else interesting happening. Inspired by the rumors that the people of Algeria ran away and fled somewhere to create their own native homeland, a group of people from Valencia, Villa, and Italy will all decide to make their own nation and will immediately begin a pilgrimage down south in order to form their own neutral West African nation free from any old great powers. Beginning from this little puppet state, they will immediately sail down, go into the city of pick up those who are secretly willing to join them. They will then go down into Valencia, pick up those from that nation who want to join their cause, and from there they will go ahead and march down into Valencian Morocco, and from there they will begin marching. And from there, they will do the exact same strategy as the Venezuelans did. After some more refugees from the new desert lands conquered by Libya will join them, they will go ahead and use the exact same strategy, the alleged exact same strategy, as the traveling around the Canaries, and then setting up outposts over here near the West African coast. From there, they will immediately begin setting sail again, whereupon they will eventually go ahead and reach the Cabo Verde, until eventually they reach Senegal, and it is here that we see the birth of a brand new West African nation, the nation of Senegal. So Senegal will immediately start off as a sort of small African empire. This is essentially the Mali Empire, but basically north. So yeah. So yeah. Now, if you don't know how many people joined this expedition, I'd say that maybe a couple thousand, probably joined this expedition. But nonetheless, Senegal will say hello to the new nation of Senegal, and their capital will be right over here in the city of where Dakar is. So, there you go. Whoops. Hang on a sec. So, there you go. And now, say hello to our newest African nation. And with that, I think that's probably going to do it for today's video. Or should I not end it here? Well, I think I want to actually do a little bit more Spanish. Hang on. So we will actually go ahead and see Vietnam going ahead sending expeditionaries all across Southeast Asia. Eventually, a storm will wipe their fleet somewhere around here until they eventually make it to the island of Palawan and then the island of Mindoro, whereupon they will eventually meet with the Koreans to say hello. Eventually, Korea will go ahead and completely colonize the entire island of Luzon, establishing a pretty good-looking colony in the northern Philippines, and now Asia is looking more filled. Elsewhere, going over here into Persia, we will see the Persians doing some minor expansion of their own. Expanding into Central Asia and basically filling up whatever new lands they can find. Eventually, Persia will go ahead and set up this, and they are happy. So I just decided to correct the border a bit, but elsewhere over here in the east, we will see another new nation popped up, inspired by China and Vietnam's movements, and by the recent let's move away from the great powers mindset. A new nation will be formed here in Central Asia, and that nation is none other than the graveyard of empires in our timeline, the nation of Afghanistan. Well, it's actually kind of in Kyrgyzstan, but this will become Afghanistan eventually. So Afghanistan will immediately begin colonizing the lands around it, and soon And at the same time, Afghanistan will start a new religion. A religion that is a mixture of both the Persian, Armenian, and Indian religions. So this is basically a combined religion, but it works. Eventually, they will meet up with the Iranians, in which they are neutral with, and from there, Afghanistan will begin to conquer the rest of the Afghan mainland. Slowly but surely, the Afghans will get used to the terrain, and in the end, and now that I think about it, Afghanistan actually kind of looks like a rhinoceros if I think about it, or a sort of pig. So we're actually going to go ahead and fix that in a bit. And, well, yeah, that doesn't really fix anything. Let me just go ahead and set up the capital right here. And I think that's honestly going to do it for today's video. And as you can see, the world map is now beginning to get filled in, and I'm really happy for that. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe. And once again, go ahead and share and give me your go ahead and give me some ideas down there in the comments. I will definitely be reading them, and I will be happy to see. And if you did, go ahead and suggest some new nations and stuff like that you want to make. Also, if you want, go ahead and make me some flags for these nations. I mean, I will make them, but if you want to make them, then that's okay. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video of episode 11. And with all that being said, see you guys on the next video of WICSO.